Welcome to Click in the Link. This is Grab and Drag. We're going to be going over the spell book and spells. This is going to be a long video, so please bear with me. So essentially, we're going to go up this little corridor here. Let's see here. Now, this is my main account, so please bear with it. It's the fastest and most reliable point of getting the spells. So, let me just... done. We'll put you up there. Okay. Alright. So, as you can see, as soon as you come out the double doors, on the right, far back side, you can see this little floating book. This is the spell book. It's a magical little thing here. So, by staying on that platform, you'll see all the spells that are currently on your character. For this particular character, who's a two-hander, he will have Bleed. On the shield, they'll have Shield Bash. He'll have both characters will have Kick. Kick, and then essentially after that, these spells will change. These little bubbles indicate, leveling them up. Each little bit eventually may be a slight increase of progression, but as of right now, to get to the next tier, every 5 levels you can max one out. There's no point in giving only 3 bubbles, so it's either 5 or nothing to get to the next level to level them up. As you can see, when they are leveled up, it doesn't show the stats anymore. So, but further ado, essentially, if you choose your skills and want to reskill them, all you do is hit reskill. You just go over here, hit reskill. It'll cost you 10 diamonds. As long as you have them, you can do it. So, I'm going to start off. Careful by clicking on that little background here. Right now it currently moves your mouse, so you'll have to Alt-Tab to get it back. So, let's see here. We're going to start off with Bandage, Blink, Charge, Cleanse, and Curse. So, again, you still have the same 2 spells. Kick will interrupt someone's spell they have currently leveled up. At level 2, it just slightly pushes them back, as well as the 2-second silence. So it interrupts them and silences them. And level 3, it will push them back, kicking them to the ground. The good old-fashioned Sparta kick. So, with a 3-second silence. Bleed, all it really does by leveling it up is increase the damage you do for the base. And then it lowers the cooldown when you can cast it again. Same thing for this. It starts off at 50 seconds, and at level 3 it's 30. 50 seconds and 30. So, we got Bandage, level 1. If you can read this spell, it's just strength-based healing spell. So the more strength you have, as you can see, the second little thing is plus 64. That's the additional strength. So it gives you more heal on Bandage. Healing occurs over 8 seconds after the spell is cast. Each time the caster casts, each time the caster receives damage during those 8 seconds will reduce the amount of healing by 50. So as you can see, minus 50 per hit. Essentially all that means is if you take any bit of damage, it will reduce the overall heal by 50. So at level 3, it's almost like 500 health. So if you got poisoned or someone has hit you with bleed, wait till that's gone. Or use like Cleanse to get rid of it. Cleanse, it instantly removes any negative effects, and it's an instant spell. So you cast it, you don't have to charge it. A lot of these spells you're gonna have to charge then cast. So all the bonus of leveling up Cleanse currently is just a shorter cooldown. Curse removes all positive effects from your opponent and adds a silence, so it interrupts them as well. At level 3, it's down to a 40-second cooldown, and it's a faster cast time from 3 seconds to 1 second cast time. Let's see here. Kick. Not kick. Blink. It's a mobility spell that teleports you forward a distance, so essentially teleport. So all these spells cost 200 mana minus bleed cost energy. Stamina 200. cake of stamina, so do keep that in mind. So this just teleports you forward. Leveling it up increases, lowers the cooldown. Charge. This spell is a mobility spell. You quickly charge to the opponent and damage and silence them on impact. Damage is 50 at level 1, up to 150 at level 3, and a 3-second silence. The cooldown is only lowered 10 seconds, and the mana is 200. Now, one thing to know about charge is if the opponent is blocking or rolling or running away, unless you can get a full flat impact on them and they're not blocking, they'll take reduced damage or none at all. The silence should still technically go into play, but if they're blocking, they will take massively reduced damage and it won't really do any. It'd be pointless. So, best time to use that is while they're charging a spell, because at level 3 it is an instant spell. So, with that being said, again, leveling up a spell, we'll level this one. At level 1, this does take a 3-second cast time, so I'll show you that right now. You got little dummies over here. Now, if you do want to see different spells, just fast forward the video. So, it's best to have your weapon out when you charge. And you can see the spell effect of the dummy. Cleanse just removes a spell off of you. Curse removes something off of them. And you can see the little skull effect dropping on them. Pretty cool, huh? Blink. Now, do remember that each one of these spells, their hands glow a different color and makes a different noise. That's how you know the difference. So, when they have this little thing on here, if you use Curse on them while they're doing it, Curse again, it would disable that. So, if they have a spell shield, you'd want to use Curse as well. Let's see here. Now, leveled up. I guess that's all that really matters. You click the bubbles you want, so... And then you hit done. This is... Now the sound for teleport blink will change, but right now that's the noise. Now, it costs a lot of mana and you can only cast it once every so often, so do be careful. Now, level 3 charge, as so, is instant. And then you even critted. So you saw the crit damage. So that is those spells there. Moving on to the next course of spells. Again, yes, I'm going to burn all my diamonds doing this. We got Earthquake, Explosion, Fireball, Freeze, and Frog. So, going over these spells, Explosion is a delayed explosive spell, has 3 seconds delay after casting it on the target before damage is applied through an explosion, which can also damage the caster if he stands too close to the explosion. Delay is 3 seconds, and the radius of the circle is 2.5 meters. Damage is it's pretty up there, but cast time is almost 4 seconds long, so do keep that in mind. Level 3. There is a knockdown, I guess. I did not know there was a knockdown of 50 newtons, so not very much. Let's see here. Cast time is 2.5, so it does lower by a second, but it still is quite a bit. Fireball, 3 seconds, and it only goes down half a second. So this is one of the higher damaging spells in the game. It's 100 damage. So Earthquake, it does 200 damage. with additional the mana being the same, over 5 ticks. The duration is 5, and the cast time is 3 seconds. Cooldown is 60 seconds at level 1. Do keep in mind, Fireball is just exactly what it is. It's a fire projectile. Highest direct damaging spell in the game. Earthquake shakes the ground around the caster. Opponents standing inside the earthquake receive damage over time. The closer they are, they stand, the higher the damage. However, if you're standing on top of where the caster cast it, there is no damage, as far as I remember. So we'll have to test that theory out again. The radius is a 20 meter circle on the caster. 3-second cooldown. At level 3, the cast time is lowered, and that's really it to 1 second. Damage isn't changed, nothing else. Now, Freeze creates an ice block around the victim's feet. The victim cannot move, but can still use spells and other mobility spells. The ice block also damages the target. So what they mean is, at this current moment, you cannot move for the first second it's cast on you. But after that, you can rotate your character and block if need be. Level 1, the root is 2 seconds, and at level 3, it's 4 seconds. The damage is not increased, but it is an instantaneous spell. It means there's no wait time at level 3. Frog turns the victim into a frog for 4 seconds. It takes 2 seconds to cast at level 1, and it's an instant spell with a 6-second duration at level 3. Any damage will break this spell. Freeze, nothing will break it except waiting for it to go away. Or Cleanse. If you have Cleanse and these things are on you, especially Explosion, Freeze, Frog, you can cast that and it'll be instantly removed. Alright. Now remember, you have to charge your spells to use them. So you press, let's say, 3, which is Fireball, and then you cast it, and bam. Explosion. Bam. Freeze. Frog. I'm going to do this one again. So as you can see, he turned right back after the first swing. And then this spell here. See that little area? But if I stand outside of it, I take damage as well. So don't forget that. But if he's all the way over there and you cast it, 15 versus 45. So if you can freeze them right here, they take the most damage. So keep that in mind. Now we're going to level up and see exactly what it does. Freeze you and you. Alright. Got 5. Oh, okay. Oh my god, you're so big! Well, please don't mind the bug. I gotta do that again. It's so big, he's a big block. Alright, sorry. So, yeah, that'll be fixed pretty fast. So. Now, a cool little combination thing to do is if you're fighting really close, you hit Earthquake and 4, and he can't move, and he's taking some serious damage. So, that's one cool thing you could do. Alright, moving on to the next spells is, let's see here, rescale, yes. Alright, so we got Heal, which is It's heals for this is actually just a standard heal. Cast time's 2 seconds, and at level 3, it's an instant spell with it does increase the higher level it is. Life Leech, it does leech 100 at level 1, and you gain about 180 over the course of time, and it's a 3-second cast time. So it's about a 30-second duration with 10 initial ticks of health. Nothing really changes except the cast time gets lower, and I think you gain a little bit more as well at level 3. Frost is a cast a frost projectile that has a slate homing missile effect that can be dodged, which applies a 5% snare for 4 seconds. When they say snare, they mean reduced slow speed. So it slows your target by 5% with a 4-second duration, does some damage. But at level 3, it does a 20% reduced in speed, which is pretty sick. So, and for 6 seconds. So they're really slowed down. So if you have someone running away and you can hit them with that, you can catch up a little bit better. So, alright, Thunderbolt at level 1, it casts an electric projectile that has slight homing missile effect but can be dodged, which knocks the target to the ground. 250 newtons, and it does a little damage, and cast time is a little bit longer, but at level 3 the cast is reduced in half. Noon is almost doubled, and it still costs 200 mana. So, and then Lightning is an instant spell that damages the target and applies a 1-second silence. At level 3, it does cast a 3-second silence. So, again, let's show the spells. This is the Frostball. This is heal. I only had 30 health to actually gain, so it's only to show what it needs. And this is a beam spell. And the best way to use this spell is being right on top of your opponent so you can damage them the most. So watch this. So you'd hit him, he's knocked over, and then you hit him. And then you hit 5, which is Lightning Bolt. Again, this is Thunderbolt. Let me get the spells right. So, the further away, you'll eventually lose your ability for the beam. So, Thunderbolt and Lightning Strike. Okay. So, I'm going to max out this spell, that spell, and that spell. Alright. Heals instant. You can literally see the stun effect on them, the silence that is. So, and there's that beam. Okay, moving on to the next set of spells. Oh, and don't forget, this is kick and stab. Kick, you can kick only once and it goes on a cooldown. And then this is stab. It's a bleed effect. So, normally you can only cast it once on somebody. So, you do that base damage. Moving on to the next spell. Spells. We're almost done there for the spells. Alright, so this is Mana Leech. Same thing as Life Leech, but the opposite. It's all mana. Nothing changes. Again, you just, this beam, if you want, it steals mana over time. It doesn't really steal enough to make it enough to really damage the opponent's mana. And you don't, at level 1, you don't really gain anything. So right now, this spell does need to be altered and adjusted to make it actually worthwhile. So we'll just, essentially what this does is it prevents him from gaining mana. Sort of. Poison damages someone over 10 seconds, doing about 180, 3-second cast time. At level 3, it's a 1-second cast time, and the damages definitely increased to about 220 total. So, 30-second duration. So, Magic's Reflect. It creates a magical shield around the caster, which will reflect any spell other than area effect spells back to the caster. Duration until hit. So So essentially, this cast time is 2.5 seconds, cooldown 60 seconds, combat. This spell lasts forever until the opponent actually casts a spell or removes it with using curse. And leveling up only shortens the cast time and again cooldown. Reactive armor, which has changed recently, it creates a temporary melee shield around the caster, reflecting 40% of the received melee back to the opponent, thus reducing the damage taken. Which the tooltip is wrong right there. It does not reduce any damage taken, so it just reflects. So that's the intended use of the spell, is it reflects 40% of the damage you receive at them. So if you take 100 damage, you still take 100 damage, but they take 40 damage back. So you can do more damage than they do. And at level 60, it's not a 2-second cooldown. At level 60, it's an instant spell with a 6-second duration, and it reduces 60% of the damage. So when they do 100 damage, they take 60 as well every swing they hit you with it. So hit them back to make it worth it. And then you got Regenerate, which is a heal over time spell, intellect based. It says 28 seconds, but that 28 seconds is realistically over the 200, so it's a little more than that. It works. Don't let it fool you. It still works just fine. So let's see here. 5. This is Regenerate, the heal over time. Gives you little leaves, follows you around. This spell, it only works if the opponent hits you, so please, when you first get it, make sure you're very effective because you're just wasting it. And it only lasts a few seconds. So, poison, it helps if they're going to have bandage. It does that damage over time. Then you got the beam, and here is the spell. So, that was Magic Reflect. Mana Leech, Poison, React Armor, and Regenerate. We're going to level up these 2 spells. So, I don't even have to move. So, that's how fast you can cast a shell. So be careful if someone has that leveled up. And there's that spell. That's Regenerate. And this is, again... See how fast that is? The best time is to use it right when someone's about to attack you, because then you get the most damage out of them. And they hurt themselves more. Moving on to the next set of spells, which is the last set of spells. Okay, so how these spells work are very simple. You got the Shadow Step, which I'm going to highlight now, which is a mobility spell that teleports the user, the caster, behind its opponent. So it's like a rogue spell. You stand behind them. At level 3, it's an instant spell. At level 1, it's 2 seconds. At level 3, it also roots the opponent and they cannot move for that 1 second. Gives you enough time to do some damage before they run away. At level 1, it's almost useless unless they're casting a spell. Stone Skin, level 1, turns a caster into a storm form, making them immune to damage and healing effects. Duration, 3 seconds. And it's an instant spell. At level 3, it's a 6-second spell. So you can Stone Skin yourself in any position on the ground or anything at all to help prevent you from taking damage from a spell. It's actually pretty useful if you can time it right. Make someone burn all their mana for nothing. Strangle creates a damaging beam between the caster and its opponent, delivering damage over time. The further away the opponent, the higher the damage. Damaging up to X amount of damage over 10 ticks. Duration is 20. Cast time is 3 seconds. 20 seconds, so it's about every 2 seconds to take damage. Level 3, the cast time is lowered. And I believe that's it, actually, on that. So, Vanish. The cat turns the caster invisible, taking damage, and attacks do break the spell stealth or casting a spell. Essentially anything other than just walking around, it will break the spell. The overall duration of the match is limited to a total of 3 minutes. So the duration is 3 total minutes per match. So that means you can only use it for 3 minutes total during a match. So don't waste all of it in the beginning if you're going to be using it to go heal yourself. So they don't want you spending the entire time invisible. They did put a limit on that. It is an instant spell, so you don't have any cast time. At level 3, the total duration per match is 5 minutes. And the cool thing is at level 3, you also, when you do cast a spell, you do get another spell that when you're invisible, it's kind of like Shadow Step where you teleport behind your opponent, but it does the same exact thing. It doesn't root them or anything, but you teleport behind your opponent when they're invisible as well. So your opponent would have to be invisible. So a scenario is you're invisible and they're visible. You have your awareness turned up so you can see them, and at level 3, you can teleport behind them using the same spell at no additional cost, and then you can hit them and break them out of it. So that's all those spells there, and I'll show you that here in a moment. So let's say I need to turn into a stone form. That's it. That's what it is. Turning stone. No matter what position you're in, it'll do it. Literally. So, pretty cool. The next thing would be the Shadow Step. So, pretty neat on there. This is the beam. Now, do keep in mind, one side note is, if you turn invisible when someone has a beam on you, it will actually cancel out the beam. How cool is that? Well, it should do it. So, I'm invisible and the beam stopped. Now let's do this again. Unfortunately, if you have a beam for you, it's also negative. So, by turning invisible, the beam is canceled. So don't forget that. And by attacking, your position is given away. So, they don't see what you see. They see nothing, essentially. Unless they get close, then they see your weird outfit. So, let's level you up, and I'll level you up. Now, if you want to get out of this sooner, you just press it again. So, you control when you get out of stone form. So, if they're doing a big combo, you can stop and then attack them. So, watch this. Let's say they're going to block and you're like, you can control that. So you can actually, if you're really good with stone form, you can actually do a lot with it. But you only can use it once every so often. Now, here is level 3 Shadow Step. They're rooted. You can see it for a second there. And then when you turn invisible, look at my number 4 in the bottom center. You can see the extra spell there. No stealth target in range. Alright. Those are all the spells that you can unlock. That's how this game works. And again, to go over one more time, kicking will silence someone by just pressing the middle mouse button. And this is stab. I'll show you exactly the shield bash now. So, with shield bash, level 3 shield bash actually stuns them for a maximum of 2 seconds. At level 1, it's just a brief, like, second or half a second. So, this is the spell. And now, if they block either bleed or this spell, it does put it on cooldown, so don't forget it. And when shield users do have a little extra defense, so you take less damage, but they also take less damage, so keep that in mind. This is Grab Dragons. I hope you enjoyed this video of skills and spells. There's so much to learn in this game, and I hope you bear with me. So we'll catch you around again. Take care, and don't forget to like and subscribe.